6:30. I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. I'll open with a prayer and we'll stand for the pledge. Lord, thank you for this pretty day. And as we read in your word, this is a day you've made, and Lord, we should rejoice and be glad in that. Be with us this morning as we take up the business before us. And we always ask for guidance and wisdom and direction as we continue to serve here in Laclede County. It's a responsibility that we do not take lightly. And Lord, it's our desire that our work serves those who call Laclede County home. If we use the finances that are available for the maximum benefit that we can squeeze out of it at times. And Lord, also in everything we do, we pray that it would bring glory and honor to your holy name. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so before we start, there's some things that came in after we put the agenda out there. So I want to mention that one thing on the agenda, the recognition award, which is item number 4, that's been postponed until next week. But then in addition to that, and I could say in general county business, but I think that, did you bring in the mental health? Okay. There's some items that we'll discuss, I think, that we just need to state up front as part of the agenda. We did receive an agreement yesterday that we're going to be asked to execute, and it's the agreement that we would have with the company that's going to provide the mental health services that we're going to use the opioid funds for, and that came in yesterday. So instead of putting that off and putting it next week, we'll take that today. Also, I think we have a vehicle out here that might be ready that we could talk about putting that in use for the coroner. That was something that I didn't get on there. And then there was some discussion, perhaps some preliminary discussion on abandoning a road, and I'd just like to lay the groundwork for that today, and then see where we go from there. So those are items that will come up, and I just didn't want to say in general county business. So if you're okay with that, we'll proceed. You guys okay with that?
I believe so.
Okay, then let's take up the approval of minutes for February the 3rd, please.
Move to approve the minutes as written for February 3rd.
I'll second it.
A motion and a second to approve February 3rd minutes as presented. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Minutes approved. Okay, first item on the agenda, we received a request for a refund on personal property tax. And this was a vehicle that was not assessed with the correct trim package. So I'm going to pass that down for review. The request was for 5 years, but statutorily we can go back 3. And I have the statute here. It's 139.031, section 5, and I'll pass that down too for you to look at.
Mm-hmm.
If you wouldn't mind getting her set up as a vendor. We need to do that too. We usually do that.
Just didn't show the difference between them. We have a total amount, was that on that paper, something for total amount? I didn't.
No,
No.
because we don't have the
Yes,
number
I
of years that
We didn't use.
we're going to approve or
I
disapprove.
thought, Joe, there was a,
I thought so.
either, there were some notes on there, either from the assessor or the collector. I was thinking there was anyway.
Okay, I didn't get to the back page. They're stuck together there.
Joe, if you don't know how the story ends, you go to the back of the book first. And
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 5. What are we gonna do?
Or we're gonna do 3.
Mm-hmm. Within 3 years of the mistake. So that's what we've got for statutes, is the 3, correct?
Is that the way we're reading this?
yes. And then if you read in there further, in that same paragraph, it talks about once the tax has been paid, that you have 3 years to request a refund. So when the first year the taxes were paid, that would have triggered the 3-year timeline, right? Which would be different than just accepting the last 3 years. But what I would say is that historically, as these have come before the commissions, and I'll use the word plural, commissions in the past, they've honored the request for 3 years, not 4, not 5, or not 10. So I think the statute's very clear that that we would not want to go back more than 3.
And so are we talking 2025, 24, and 23?
Since it was recognized, and I guess we could discuss that, but since it was recognized and presented this year, I think if we go back, it'd be 25, 24, and 23.
And I'm fine with that.
That's what I would.
So which ones of those figures are 25? Yep, right there it is.
Mm-hmm. Right here. Yep. Be those right there.
And I think, it's never been the desire, I don't think, of this commission or prior commissions to be punitive,
No,
but also to be following the statutes.
I'm coming up with $317.36. Has anybody else come up with that number?
Did you use both hands on the calculator?
I didn't. I only
You only
used
used one.
one.
I seen it.
Well,
I
I
watched
don't
it with my own
know.
eyes.
You want me to put a dollar amount on this
I will-
motion?
I
Or do
will-
you want me
I
to
will.
put years on it?
Both. And I will trust your numbers because I know they'll be verified.
Well, let me do it again. I'm gonna make a motion to get this gentleman a refund on this truck for 2025, 2024, 2023 for a total of $317.36.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second to approve a refund for personal property taxes for 25, 24, and 23 at the amount of $317.36. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Refund approved.
Do I need to initial anything on that?
Mm, as
think
long as
we-
you're signing.
There.
sir. Okay, next order of business would be an update on America's 250 celebration. There was a meeting last week, and the commission was there. Joe, you stayed around probably longer than I did. Do you want to speak to any of that, or?
No, I mean, pretty much only thing after you'd left and stuff that they did was just talk about, you know, some more scheduling and updating on a few things there. But no, it seems to be moving forward along with their concert and all that kind of stuff. How they're planning stuff out. I mean, it sounds like it's going to be a pretty good deal. Diamond Rio is the concert, I believe, that they're having there. So, and they've got other things planned, a big picnic deal, and then of course the 4th of July celebration. So, but other than that, just talking about the rest of their finances and fundings and that type of stuff.
Okay, and so as part of that discussion and what we know is through economic development funds, we budgeted $25,000 to support the celebration of America's 250th birthday, and we received a list of possible items that we would direct pay for, and the biggest one there is we would help offset the cost of the fireworks and also the cost with some of the service organizations providing services during that event. So as we get more information on that, we will bring that back up. But I just want to give an update that put that on the agenda and keep that in front of us, because that time goes by quickly.
Yeah.
Any other questions or thoughts on A250? Okay, seeing none, then we'll go next item. And I put this on here just to keep us, again, Senate Bill 3, keep it top of mind awareness. As I think we all know, the legislature last year carved the state up into 3 different segments, and some counties would be frozen, their property taxes would be frozen. They would put the question to their voters in April. If the voters pass that, then their taxes are frozen, their property taxes. Another group of counties was they would be able to cap their property taxes at 5%. And Linda, correct me if I'm wrong, but that is a ballot issue as well, that they have to vote on those counties, as far as we know. And you may even have an update since I put this on here. And then we in Laclede County, we're one of a few counties that there is no cap. Everything continues as it has in the past, and this seems so illogical, and it seems like that there's a disparity here that's been created, that's being challenged in court, and I would hope the court would throw it out, but that hasn't been the case yet. And so I just want to keep us in the loop, because there might be at some point we want to join in with other counties in pursuing getting this overturned, if that would be our desire. Way I see it, if you have surrounding counties and their property tax is capped and it's not capped in Laclede County, and you want to relocate, and you look at the tax base and you compare a county that their property taxes are frozen. Now that would be when you move in, obviously, when you purchase the property, not what it was 10 years ago. But if you're anticipating that being your retirement home, would you possibly weigh, all other things being equal, hey, my property taxes are frozen here, versus if I relocate to Laclede County, that's not the case. So I think there could be further discussion we'll need to have, and there might be merit at some point for us to join in to some type of lawsuit, possibly, and I'm just throwing this out today so that we just keep it top of mind awareness. It's in the courts right now. We don't know how it's going to end, and all of this may be a moot point in the next few days or in the next few weeks. But I just wanted to, again, put that out there. So that was my reasoning, put that on the agenda. And Linda, if you have any update, I know through your association and running the elections, there might be updates. I don't know if there.
I think the lawsuit has potential to continue on, even because the 5 and the 0% counties haven't got a court ruling yet, and there is difference of opinion in that group because some didn't put it on, commissions didn't put it on the ballot because they said it's an unfunded mandate. You can't ask us to be paying $40,000 for an election that you alone have just said to do. Others have said, well, it is the law, and so we're putting it on there. We went to the judge. We're hoping he overturns it, but if not, we have it on the ballot. So even within the lawsuit itself, there is difference of opinion from the guidance of the leadership. So it's definitely not over yet. So the idea of would there be a rejoining to readdress an L3 would be, I think, a really good thing for the state of Missouri. There are some that are out, the big cities, Kansas and Kansas City and St. Louis and Greene County, some of them are out. But for everybody else, there's a lot of how do you manage all the hodgepodge that's sitting around our state currently. And you would hope that a cleanup would be in order.
Okay. All right, next item we scratched, and the next item, I'll just say general county business, but I'm gonna move into those 3 items that I mentioned earlier. And the first is we received an agreement to execute this morning. This is the agreement with the company that's going to provide counseling services for us, for services pertaining to health counseling services to inmates at Laclede County Jail. And I think, as you recall, we did have a fund balance in opioid settlement funds, and we elected to designate some of those funds to support this initiative.
Wow. Seems to be pretty much what I remember us visiting on.
Okay. So, if you've had a chance to review that, then I would entertain a motion to approve the agreement.
I'd move to approve the agreement as we had discussed and it's written here for the mental health services.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, and this would be an annual, and of course, we only budgeted for 1 year, but this is, it would be billed at $400 per week, and we allocated and budgeted $20,800 for these services. So with that, with a motion and second, with the amount stated, then I would say that if there's no other questions, then I'll ask for the vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Agreement approved. All right, next item then would be there's a vehicle, I believe it's a 2015 Explorer that has been decommissioned from the sheriff's office, and it's available for county use or to we decided to sell it, but I think the idea was when we discussed that we would make that available to the coroner. I don't know if Steve's had a chance to look at it or not. It's sitting out there, but that's one, Steve, that we would make available to replace the one that that the deer took out.
I didn't get to look inside it. The outside, I looked it over. Looks in better condition. Plus, it's got a grill guard on it, so in case we have a occasion with another deer, which I hope does not happen. But in my talking with people, I understand there could be a transmission issue with that vehicle, and I don't know if we want to address that now, or we want to wait until it completely quits and address it then. And if so, where would that money come from?
So those are good points, Steve. I did ask that same question to Perry, who takes care of the vehicles for the sheriff, and he said that currently it's been drivable, and his opinion would be that we continue to drive it, knowing that there's a possibility that the transmission will go out, but it's one of those, would it go out the first mile out, or would it be 10,000 miles out? We really don't know. So it'd be my recommendation that we're not doing any pursuits with it, right? We're just driving to an investigation, right?
Yeah.
So for that reason, I would be of the opinion that we don't do the repair now. And then as far as when the repair needs to be done, you don't have it in the budget, so we as a commission would have to come up with that.
I have checked in on a little bit of that and everything, and in order for right now, if a person was to look at getting that transmission replaced, repaired, you're looking anywhere from about $4,000 to $6,500. Also, with visiting and doing some stuff there, that it seems that the transmission seems to do pretty good around town, normal speeds, out and about. It seems to have more of an issue trying to shift a little bit more whenever you're actually getting on it, like for pursuits, like Randy mentioned, or something of that need where you really need to get all after it, So I'm still for right now as well. Let's drive it. Let's see what we got, understand it a little bit better and go from there. Would be my suggestion.
I understand. The only reason I bring it up is it takes a lot of work to put that car into service, and I don't send it off and have somebody else do it. I do all the install and
I appreciate that.
and all that. The wife has her own vinyl stuff, so she cuts and does all that, and I put all the other stuff in it.
You bet.
And I can understand if we drove it 6 years and the transmission went out, we may want to just get rid of the car at that point in time. But if it goes out within a year, I would say we'd probably be looking more, maybe wanting to fix it. I just want to ask,
And I think, Steve, to your point, then again, that makes sense because, if we can get some additional mileage up, but if it goes out here in 6 months and it is going to cost $6,500, maybe we, rethink it. But right now, I'm of the mindset to move forward as is, and we just roll the dice, I guess, and see what happens.
So where is the main, or what is the main issue? So if they punch it, it doesn't want to shift down,
Kinda-
or it
kinda
shifts down too
stalls out.
far?
No, yeah, it kind of stalls out and revs up there and just holds there. It doesn't want to shift back out at times. Other times it don't shift back down. It don't shift up.
Is this an
Yeah.
overdrive drive problem? Is it that top function that?
That
I've had
I
trucks
haven't
where
drove
I've
it.
had to drive and drive.
Mhm.
I couldn't use the
And
overdrive.
I've had some that wouldn't shift out automatically on their own, but you could shift them out manually if you
Yeah.
brought them down and went. So I don't know. I haven't drove it. I mean, I'm willing.
What
I'm
I
willing,
was
especially if it's got
told-
lights and stuff. I'm willing.
What I was told, around that 30 to 40 mile an hour, it would
Fluctuate.
shift back, and it would shift
Pulsate.
itself back and forth and pulsate.
Okay.
Now,
So-
like I said, I'm not driven it yet. I'll know more about it once I drive it. You know,
I've had more than one vehicle that I could not use the overdrive function.
Mhm.
It had to stay in drive.
That one right there, like you said, I mean, it's in between like that
Yeah.
third shift or something like
Third,
that.
fourth.
and I think they think it's a torque, something to do with the torque converter. I'm not.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I'm not an experienced person on that motor and transmission.
I'm fine with getting in it and seeing what happens.
Okay. All right, we'll need to get with Mike and make sure the insurance is, that we didn't let it lapse, and how we reallocate that, so.
Perfect timing.
I might urge, maybe holding off on spending any significant monies until we do drive it.
Well, that's what I figured is it'll take me a little time to get to the point, and I can drive it as it is.
Yeah.
Without it being lettered and everything. I don't like to do that because it is county property, but I can diagnose it pretty good after driving it several times.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, so we'll get the, make sure that we have coverage on it, and we'll get the keys in the hands of Steve. And Steve, you might visit with Mike there and say, I think Perry brought her the keys. So you might, and it's parked out back there where the assessor parks their vehicles at, so, okay.
I did notice I forgot one item on that blue car. Have you guys done anything with it yet?
I
Setting
think
out
it's
there.
next Tuesday is when we
17th.
open bids for that, Steve, so you have a week
Okay,
to get whatever you need to out of it.
As long as it's not the steering wheel.
it's not. It's
Or the
siren.
transmission.
Yeah, or the
That
transmission.
was, that might be an option there, but anyway, you know, the siren box, it's up underneath, and I forgot it. So, I gotta get it's a speaker, it's up under the front bumper, so it's 2 volts. I'll get it out there before next Tuesday.
You bet.
Okay, all right, thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Next item, and Erik, you can help me on this. This was, I think you brought to my attention, this was an individual who, it's in reference to the Galena Road. They had, I believe, approached you about abandoning that road, or to some extent, a conversation started to occur. And then there's some research that I had, I think you'd asked me to do, and so I'd be happy to share that.
Share it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, first of all, Galena is what, about a quarter of a mile long or so. The maintenance that has been done, last maintenance I can find on it was 22. The property owner that may ask the commission to abandon or vacate that, they own the property on both sides of that road. It probably would fit the definition in the statutes of really not being practical for the county to maintain. My driveway going down to my house is approximately a quarter of a mile long, and I'm the only one who lives back there. And it's not maintained by the county, nor would it ever should be. But back in the day, that was probably, as we know, it was a milk route or a postal route, or school buses traveled it to use that. So that's how a lot of our roads were established. And now, as we get further along, then some of those no longer serve the original purpose. Okay. But then you had mentioned that there was, someone had indicated there was a cemetery up there. Okay. So there is, and it has some pretty interesting history to it. And I would say, I'd like to give Jennifer's office, Jennifer, kudos for helping with this. But the name of the cemetery, and the reason why this is going to be important to kind of set this up, is Jarrell Cemetery. And there was an article written in the Kirk Pierce had written an article about this a few years ago. But Jarrell Cemetery is one of the many family graveyards that the Laclede County Historical Society has received a complete history of and list of those that are buried there. This cemetery is located east of Lebanon, the old Rippey School District, on the Jarrell homestead overlooking Mill Creek. Once a sacred burial spot for loved ones, it is now in bad condition. Now, this is when the article is written. Since then, the landowner has told me somebody has come out and put a fence around it and kind of cleaned it up a little bit. It's not been cared for many years. When Booker C. Carroll, who once served in the Missouri House of Representatives and was Laclede County surveyor, died on November 1st, 1888, his family decided to bury him on his farm. Then it proceeds to go on about the next burials and then later other burials. And it says that the last grave made at the Jarrell Cemetery was of Frank Jarrell, who died on April 28th of 1947. So we have a landowner who would like to have that road abandoned. We have a cemetery back there, and then so we go to statute. So we have two issues. One would be vacating or abandoning the road for, I think, what could be obvious reasons. And then number two would be that the public does have access to private cemeteries. And I've spoken to this landowner. They know this, and they have no objection, and I would even go to the extent of saying no right to keep anyone from out of there. Although before I climbed over their fence and walked on their property, I would make sure I had permission. But in additional information here, when it talks about the location of the cemetery, it talks about it's half of a quarter southwest of the house in the pasture, and then need permission. So the landowners know that people can come and visit the cemetery, and I would guess that whoever has erected a fence around that is probably more from a historical standpoint and not necessarily anyone that's going out there to put flowers on the grave when the last burial was in 1947. I mean, that would be my guess. So just a little background on that. If we discuss it here and it's something we want to put on the agenda for action item, then what I'd like to do is put it on next week's agenda, if that's what we elect to do, and then let it set for a couple weeks to see if there's any objections to it, and then we can take it up for consideration like we have some other county roads.
So my thought goes to a sign at the end of the driveway with the phone number, appointments or permissions or whatever, you call this phone number, and that phone number needs to be there. And that potentially then keeps us from getting any future phone calls. And also potentially some written agreement between the county and them that they, no?
No, I'm trying to multitask, I'm
Okay.
sorry. What was, please restate
A
that, Erik.
written agreement.
Some sort of written agreement potentially between the county and the landowner that they will at least be receptive to appointments or peoples coming to visit.
So this is gated. It does have a gate.
It does.
It's a gate locked
That I don't
under
know
lock and key.
for sure, but,
May wanna check into
Do what?
that. May wanna check into that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of us not getting involved in this, again in the future somewhat. Or we just let it go and deal with that issue when it comes up 10 years from now and the property's changed hands and the new people, know, they don't want to let anybody on the property.
And then with that being stated then, I mean, is that something that we're still going to give a courtesy grading for? Are we doing a courtesy grading? Cause I mean, he stated 22, 21, 22. the last time
22 is
something
the
was on
last
there.
record I have of it.
It sounds like it's out in the middle of a field. Do we want to be running a road grader
I'm
out in the
just-
middle of a field?
I'm just asking questions. There's other stuff that's coming around and coming up as well. And I'm just gathering information and forethoughts and seeing how to proceed on with some other stuff.
So really, I think there's still, really the main issue is, would the commission consider vacating?
Oh,
or
definitely.
Banning the road? And then if we do that, then what's that follow-up is what it looks like to the cemetery.
I'm all for it not
Because-
being a county road.
Because Galena is a county road currently.
Correct.
Okay, so see, that makes a little bit of a difference for some other stuff that I've got going.
And it looks like it is their desire by the gates being erected and put up there for it to not be a county road. And it doesn't really go anywhere except to their house. So yes, I'm all for abandoning the road. But I don't want us to get into some future, in the middle of some future
Especially with this one here.
contest between a landowner and somebody trying to legitimately visit the graves.
Yeah, and
Especially with the historical
Yeah.
that's behind it as well. I mean, that's a lot of different doors.
And I agree that we need to move forward very thoughtfully and deliberately. But then I would temper that and say that at that point, that may not be entirely in our hands.
Mhm.
Okay, so that at some point could be a civil issue.
Correct.
And not an issue, although we could possibly get pulled into that. So
Involved.
maybe what I would recommend is visit with Amy, get her opinion on that, and maybe that will help guide us as we move forward.
Well, and maybe the worst case scenario is the civil issue does arise later down the road and we have to end up taking the road back and yeah, I like that.
Okay. Okay.
If I were in their shoes, I would probably want it to not be a county road.
And I would say that, the fact that it has a gate does imply visually
Yes.
no trespassing, let's say. However, I can also say a cemetery I'm very familiar with has a gate across the front of it that is locked at hours that people are not have permission to go in there. So, could that be the case here? I don't know. You know, to Joe's point or your point, you know, is there a lock on it or not? Or is it just a gate that's visually, hey, don't come in?
Yeah.
Right. So why don't I visit with, unless you'd like to, I'll walk down and visit with Amy when she has time and see what her thoughts are.
Because there is other cemeteries that do have signage up that, you know, no permission after 10 o'clock or certain stuff like that as well, you know, to keep out a little bit of riffraff and damage.
I can tell you right now that if I was these people,
Yep.
I don't want anybody coming down my driveway at this point without a prior appointment.
I've driven your driveway and I wouldn't want anybody to come down there either.
Yeah. You had that driveway. So, yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, I understand that, because I'm at back a quarter mile as well.
I don't want to step out my front door and there be somebody standing there in my yard, so that's not the way
I
it
told you it
works.
would be for hunting, right?
Correct, yeah, that's even better.
Steve, what you got?
Again, thank you. Just FYI, that's 2017.
That's what I was
not
thinking.
15.
Yeah.
And
That's what I checked on, was 17.
insurance card's there, Mike's taking care of it, I've got the keys. Is there a chance we could, if we can't find a key fob, I could get at least one fob ordered? Would you guys do
Is that like a remote entry?
That way, when I'm on scene, I can leave the car running but lock it, and then when I come back, I can unlock it. That way nobody's getting in.
Well, do you have money
check
in
it
your
out.
supply line?
Probably not enough to cover a key fob. I
Oh,
don't know
really?
what one is, but
Perry
It
couldn't
depends.
find anything.
Have you checked with Perry?
I'm gonna check again.
okay.
to
I
make sure,
would.
But Mike said if he didn't bring it, they probably don't have one, but I'll check. But I was just asking if they don't, if I come to you, Randy.
How many keys we got?
There is 4 keys, so.
Yeah, we got plenty of
And
keys.
I don't need 2
So worst-
fobs or a bunch of, I just.
Worst case
as long as
scenario
I
is you
have
carry 2
one.
keys, one in the ignition, one in your pocket.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I got a vehicle that I'm that way with.
I would just ask for.
Why don't we do our homework and, or our research and then let us know?
Let's
See
check
if
the
there's
vehicle
anything.
out first.
Yeah.
Test
I
it,
looked,
drive it.
but I haven't been through it yet.
That's what I'm saying. Test it, drive it. Let's see what our transmission is before we. Yeah,
I'll come back and pick the card up at some point in time today, so I got the keys, so.
you bet.
Thank you.
You bet, Steve. See you.
Okay, so Galena Road, I will visit with Amy and then bring it back to the commission for further discussion. Okay?
Yep. You bet.
All right, so now we'll be in general county business.
Do we have much of anything?
Okay. Public comments, items listed on the agenda, none. Okay, routine business. That was from last week, I think, Joe. I just had them here in my notes.
Oh,
I just throw them back
okay.
out there if anybody wants to do anything.
I
And then-
haven't reached out to any of them.
And then Murphy Tractor had called, so if anybody's gonna make their own individual decisions on any of that, they would probably like to know.
When are you guys going?
27th, 28th, it's like Wednesday, Thursday. Is it 25th? It's the last week, Linda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
25th, 26th, 27th.
Yeah.
25th, 26th, 27th. Yeah. Because this year the extensions is different. It's the week before the MU dinner.
Yeah, I
Last
think
year it was at the
it's,
same time. It's the 19th.
or something, I
Yes, 19th. Mhm. Yeah, about due for that one. Jared is gone all this week. I was actually thinking that was next week, but vacation.
Yeah,
Mhm.
good for him.
Yep.
Hope he gets some time to enjoy there.
I told him to leave that phone with somebody else, but he's taking it with him.
Did he really?
Yes.
I thought he was gonna leave it with,
He said he would have it.
John. Interesting, okay. All right, so Linda's, presented a, court order, and it states the Laclede County Commission does hereby authorize Christy Carr, treasurer of Laclede County, to receipt $66,635.94 from the County Development Tax Fund. It's CD interest to the General Revenue Fund per the January 6, 2026 minutes. Did I read that right or wrong?
Capital improvement.
Oh,
That's what I meant to say.
You read it correctly and said it wrong?
So let's restate this. The Laclede County Commission does hereby authorize Christy Carr, treasurer of Laclede County, to receipt $66,635.94 from the Capital Improvement Fund, and that's CD interest to General Revenue Fund per January 6, 2026 minutes. Review that, and then I would entertain a motion to approve. Excuse me.
Court order.
Absolutely.
I mean, you gotta do it.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, that's one of those things. I mean, that's what I was sitting there thinking. Well, I would go ahead and move to make a motion to approve the court order that it had been restated for capital improvement here for $66,635.94.
I'll second that court order.
We have a motion and a second to approve the court order as read. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed will be held in contempt.
There you go.
We need to initial top that, or you
Please,
guys
yeah.
are signing, do we?
No, please
Okay.
initial it. You have anything else?
Are you going Murphy's?
No,
You're not going Murphy's?
no.
All right,
I don't know
next
when it
item
is,
on the
what
agenda
time,
would
or
be
who.
public comments, items not
You ain't
listed
going
on the
this year, are
agenda.
you?
Okay, seeing none. Any other business? Nope. Okay, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Adjournment.
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Ah.
We're adjourned. How do we handle in the state of Missouri, family cemetery?